My name's John Rolls. I'm the Director of Animal Welfare Promotion, which is a broad job where I have responsibility effectively for the sort of external image of the RSPCA. So I'm concerned about reputation, I'm concerned about the way we deal with issues, the campaigning side, fundraising, our parliamentary side, the press, and the science group. So it's a very broad remit that I have, and it's fascinating, very interesting. One day is never the same as another, and it's all about helping pets, really. They provide so much enjoyment for people. It's a crucial relationship for many, many people. Look at the number of people who actually own pets in this country. It's a huge benefit for us and for mankind to have the companionship of animals. Right. Well, I think rather than sort of put animals in different categories and argue about some of the definitions, I think it'd be more interesting to look at whether pets are hard to keep or easy to keep, and look at that aspect of pets rather than trying to put them into different categories and then making judgments about it on the basis of those categories. And I think that's an important way of looking at it, because some exotics are relatively easy to keep, others are very difficult to keep. And going back to my other point about pet shops, if they're sold through pet shops, then they need to know what they're undertaking in terms of their needs, and they may be very specialised needs that can be difficult to provide unless you know what you're dealing with. One of the problems with animals in classrooms was that often we found that animals were being left at the weekend or even over a holiday period, and were not getting the attention they required. There was a lack of understanding, for example, that hamsters are nocturnal and they were being pushed to do something during the day which is against their needs. And so we felt that in the main we needed to have a fairly clear policy to avoid that sort of suffering that could occur to animals. And people say, oh, it's fine to bring them into school. It can be, but only if it's within a properly understood structure and people are taking responsibility for them and so on. So in making this simple, we've said that we don't think it's a good idea to have animals in schools, but if you are going to do it, and obviously some schools still do it, then you have to have a properly regulated framework. Otherwise the animal could suffer, and that is our concern. It's not to stop people from having contact with animals. That is the last thing we want to do, but we need to safeguard the welfare of the animals.
Because children need to be educated and responsible.
They do, but they also need to understand, for example, hamsters are often the animal of choice for schools, and of course they're nocturnal. So, I don't know if you want to, schools aren't going to change their hours as far as I can see, so, the hamster then becomes an inappropriate animal for the school. We know people have concerns, but when we go out and ask on the web, for example, what people think of the RSPCA and what we're doing, and we do want a genuine debate with people so that they can help to form the policies for the RSPCA, because we're in a sense only guardians of this sort of movement that lies behind the RSPCA in a way. We need to know what people think in order to be able to consider that, put that into a scientific context, and then come back to them with policies, ideas that would move things forward. It's not that a few people should decide the policies for everyone. It is that it should be a genuine democratic debate about the lives of animals. And I think we need to, but just to go back to my point, when people have responded to the work of the RSPCA, the vast majority of people are extremely positive and extremely enthusiastic. There are small numbers of people who have particular agendas. Now, I don't dismiss those agendas, I just think they become too voluble in an environment where most people are saying, look, this is the right way to go. We do appreciate that you can't do everything, but please listen to these sorts of things. And we do listen, and we do want to be transparent, because that's the way to strengthen the animal welfare movement as a whole. We're never going to get rid of cruelty altogether, but we need to make every effort as a society to reduce levels of cruelty, neglect, and we need to get people on board to take their responsibility for animals and their pets, and we need to try and help them to do that.